Sometimes we must look to nature to remind us of the connection we all share. Like here in the plains of Digital, Iowa, where two white women have found this small dog and began taking care of it. In exchange for companionship, the dog gets food, but no amount of boiled chicken can protect it from its greatest predator, the best of three. Despite getting zero support in BT11, Jesmon's ability to get big number and hit unsuspended guys has made it incredibly viable in this meta. I know that makes the deck sound really linear, but I can honestly say this deck varies wildly from game to game. One game I can set up a 5-piece board after checking 3 of my opponent's security, and the next I can open a hand so white I go fucking snowblind. Unlike every other two-colored deck, the Jesmon/Huckmon line and the Sistermon line are two separate archetypes that don't go into each other. Because in what world can this metal dog turn into a nun? However, their newest structure deck does an incredible job of revitalizing the strategy while maintaining that original design philosophy. This means we're going to have to go back in time to the original Jesmon line of support to pick up some necessities, like BT6 Huckmon, which a year later is still one of the best searchers they've ever printed. It searches the top 5 cards and can add any 2 cards as long as it includes Huckmon, Jesmon, or Sistermon in its name. Unfortunately, some of the newer support it does whiff on, but it's still a guaranteed 4 of. And then there's the debatable 2 of BT7 Huckmon, who's when attacking a heritable finally answers the question of where the white women at, but then raises the question of how am I gonna win with all my pieces at the bottom of my deck? Unlike its predecessors, the structure deck Huckmon is not a searcher but rather an extender that gains you a memory whenever a Sistermon hits the field and provides an inheritable effect that allows you to gain an all turns 1k buff to your stack. And the structure deck Bao Huckmon has the exact same inheritable, teaching us about the dangers of plagiarism. This deck could already crack 17k without this guy wasting an inheritable, and we could have used something like the OG Bao Huckmon's effect that pops something 5k or less on your opponent's side of the field. But maybe I should be happy. I mean, hey, you spelled your name right, so you're at least searchable. Thank God for that, huh? Get the fuck out of here. And now we reach the final card of the original Jesmon line that's, usable. The BT6 Savior Huckmon, which is the card you can play. Playing a Sistermon when Digivolving and giving your stack the ability to unsuspend when a Sistermon was on the field made this card stackier than an 8-decked elephant, but that was when you could run the card at 4 copies. However, since the restriction to 1 copy, you can't focus the deck around the Savior, and it doesn't naturally gel with the Blitz-focused builds, making the card feel worse than it actually is. It honestly feels like Chimeramon's the better level 5 in the deck. While it's not searchable, the amount of level 4s hitting the field makes this card a great extender, and its one Digivolving effect allows you access to any inheritable you want that's level 5 or lower in trash, including the inheritable effect of the Structure Savior Huckmon. When Digivolving with the Structure Savior Huckmon, you can now attack anything that's unsuspended, and its one attacking inheritable allows you to play a Sistermon from hand. Or trash. That's right, unless the class action lawsuit from the purple decks comes through, the modern Jesmon strategy has a heavy emphasis on setting up and playing cards from the trash, as you can see in the deck's best option, from Master to Disciple. This card only costs 2, lets you search the top 3 cards of your deck to add a Sistermon, Huckmon, or anything with Royal Knight, and then trash the rest. It itself is a Royal Knight, so you can add itself when searching. Its search effect still pops off when hitting security, and it has a delay effect that reduces Digivolution cost with no archetypal restriction. You could not show this card on television with how much cunt it's serving. Despite not going into each other, the Sistermon lineup provides great synergistic effects for your stack, and now that we have easier access to them, it makes you really appreciate their effects a bit more. It's also where you're going to see the most variety in ratios between players, but at the end of the day, just know you're going to want to run some number of all of them, except for the Awakened ones. I have no idea what they do. I don't respect morning people. The BT6 the hell? Has an on-play effect that lets you gain a memory, and a passive effect that gives a 2k boost to all of your Huckmon and Royal Knights on the field, while the BT6 Blanc has an on-play effect that lets you draw 1 and provides all your Sistermon the ability of Blocker. Of course, this blocker effect can only be applied if there is a Huckmon or a Royal Knight on the field, which is a terrible stipulation to forget when you're sitting across the table from an All-Force player. For structure, you have the Blanc that lets you discard 1 to draw 2 and provides Decoy for your stack, and the CL that has a searching effect that lets you check the top 3 and then trash the rest, similar to From Master to Disciple, and provides your stack reboot. But the only reboot I'm interested in watching is the BT10 CL, where she's a Valley Girl and also the bringer of the end times. This card is a deceptively explosive combo piece that lets you gain a memory whenever you Digivolve into a Royal Knight, and on play allows you to turn any of your guys into a Royal Knight for its cost, which means you're either plussing memory while going into Jesmon X in the Jesmon structure deck variants, or you're suddenly turboing into Jesmon GX in the GX variants. Yeah, that's right, variants. We used to have those before the incident. In this variant, you focus on the structure deck Jesmon, who has a 1 Digivolving Blitz effect, and when a Digimon is played by an effect, it gains an extra 3k and an extra security attack. It also has a 1 attacking effect that allows you to play a Sistermon, but only from hand, which means you're going to have to be a lot more cautious when trashing cards. And you pair this with the Jesmon X Antibody, who has piercing, and when Digivolving can play a Sistermon from trash or hand, gives an extra 2k to the entire board, and gives all your pieces the ability to attack unsuspended Digimon. By Jesmon standards, it's an incredibly consistent variant, and has a better time handling wide boards, but what if the number was bigger? That's where Jesmon GX comes in. Counting out the structure Jesmon, this variant focuses on pulling out your DT10CL from the effects of one of your cards to turbo into GX, listing for 3 security checks, all while establishing a massive board via the when Digivolving effects of both Jesmon X and Genkumon X. Genku X serves as the defensive counterpart to Jesmon X, which is why it has blocker, and while its when Digivolving effect is similar because it plays a Sistermon from hand or trash and gives a 2k buff to the board, rather than allowing it to attack unsuspended Digimon, this one provides a defensive buff that prevents your opponent from bouncing or deeply reducing your entire board till the end of their turn. While the GX combo does pass over a lot of memory, it puts your opponent in check, and now they're going to have to find a way to deal with this 5-piece board with tons of protection this turn, or they're dying the next. Where is GX? Damn it!